Hello, this is Chad with Syncfusion, and a customer has a question about our Angular Gantt control. So let's take a look. Here is the actual customer questions. They want to change the back color of a Gantt. Specifically, they want to change the back color when they click a task, and they also want to change the color of a column based upon the field data in that column. So let's take a look at what we did. Here is the sample we wrote for them. And if we look at it, we have this is green, so that's a change in this column. And if I click on a row, the row also changes its background color. Now, how did we do this? If we look here in the HTML, we're going to see these three events are what we're actually doing. These three events are what we use. So let's go look at this. And we're going to use this style. So this style is just like what I drew it with. This is the style. This is yellow. So styles new is what we're going to be using. Okay, styles new is what's making this yellow here. Now, here's the actual code for this. And it starts off, we're just adding our Gantt. We let this Gantt be editable, right? So if I click on something, date comes up, we get a drop down. Because we left it editable, you need all these extra modules here. These modules are all used as you're editing the Gantt. If you don't want to let people edit it, then you don't have to add them. So let's go on down what we're doing here. Couple of things. Here we are setting up our task settings. We're defining the actual, what we expect the data to be. We're defining our data. Here we are defining our columns. So right here, this is by default, this is called ID, but it's a task ID. If I wanted to change that, I could put something like this, something like that. So I've changed the header text of that column. There it is, now it's hello. And that's how all these fields are going to work. And what we're doing on query cell info, so these are the three events that I mentioned earlier. Query cell info, what we're doing here is if the field is task ID, which is this first column, then we're going to let it be light green. Now, if we wanted to use a different column, then maybe we want to do that. Now, the job name or the task name, these are all green. Now, because this is happening in query cell info, this event is conserved across, I think, every grid that we make. It is the last thing to happen before an individual cell is actually rendered or drawn on the screen. So the cell knows everything about itself, and it knows all of its data, so it can be drawn. So at this time, you could go through and pull out any of these cells here, and change the back color based upon whatever value you want. That's query cell info. Now, row selected. We have row selected and row deselected. These are the two events that are going to give us the nice yellow across the board here. Okay. Row selected, we are going to go through. So when something is selected, then the Gantt is going to add to it this class. The selected event adds that class to whatever the item is. So we're going to go through on row selected. We're going to go through and capture whatever is active, and then it's JavaScript, so you should put a check. And we're going to add to it that styles new that was over here in the HTML. This styles new. We're going to add that to whatever that object is. And then on deselected, so when I click down a row, right, the deselected event is going to take away the styles new. So the way it works, deselected is first and then selected. If something is selected, then first it's deselected, then the next item is selected. If that wasn't the logic, then this sample wouldn't work. So that was it. We answered the customer question. It really was just that easy. And thank you for watching.